Everyone, and now we have another keynote session. And before this, हमारे साथ बात कर रहे थे दो बहुत बड़े पर्यावरणविद, अब दो ऐसे लोग आ रहे हैं जो दुनिया के माने हुए इकोनॉमिस्ट हैं, with lot of affection, respect, and quotations and respect. I would like to call upon Dr. Bhola Khan, Associate Professor, York State University, Nigeria, visiting Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Cybernetics, Sumy State University, Sumy, Ukraine. And chairing the session with lot of affection, gratitude, venerance, I would like to call upon Muhammad Ashif Shah, Associate Professor, Kebri Dehad University, Ethiopia. And these are the two biggest economists of the world, and they are going to talk how sustainable development is going on along with the economy hand in hand. So here we go.
At the outset, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Professor Dr. Hukumji, the patron principal of the Rajvisi Autonomous Government College, Alwar, Rajasthan, India, and Dr. Mamta for inviting me. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to stand here and speak some things which I'm working on it. Still, the work is in progress. It's not a complete work. But I try to give my best, whatever the things I have did so far. So it gives me immense pleasure to stand here and to present my work. The work is on carbon emission and economic growth in some selected countries of Economic Community of West African States. This ECOWAS is the regional bloc like European Union, SAARC and BRICS and so on. And 15 countries are participated into this. The members of the countries, the numbers of the countries in the ECOWAS is 15. But for the sake of simplicity, we selected only 10 countries because collecting data is a very difficult task. For now, these data are collected from the World Development Indicators and World Bank and Central Bank of Nigeria, various bulletin, National Bureau of Statistics Nigeria, various bulletin. So that's why for the sake of simplicity we just collected 10 countries data, and we wanted to establish the relationship between the carbon emission and various factors, how various factors are affecting carbon emission in such countries. So myself, Bhola Khan, as Dr. Mamta has introduced, so no need to more introduction of myself. So here is, as we know that my presentation is little different from others previous speakers. So please bear with me. The climate change, as we know, that is one of the core agenda of the sustainable development, and even the goal of, at the same time, what is one race to achieve a higher economic growth and without harming the environment. Most of the cases is not possible to achieve it. Due to energy consumption and industrial activities, the global carbon dioxide emission is rising by 0.9%, an equivalent of 321 metric ton in 2022, and reached at 36.8 gigaton as per the International Energy Association 2022. Sectorial-wise carbon emission is out of 36.8 gigaton carbon emission. 116 metric ton is from natural gases, 243 from coal burn, 11.2 gigaton from use of oil, and the biggest sectorial increase in carbon emission in year 2022 came from use of electricity, and it went up by 1.8% or 261 metric ton, while emission from industrial activities got declined by 23 metric ton, 0.2% as per the International Energy Association. Though the world rise in carbon emission grew in 2022, however, Europe registered decline at the rate of 2.5%, that is the 70 metric ton, and due to the COVID-19, it is relevantly flat for Chinese economy, 0.2%, while emission by United States of America is relatively grew by 0.8%, that is the 36 metric ton. emission from Asia's emerging and developing economy, excluding China, witnessed 4.2%, that is the 206 metric ton increase in carbon emission. In Africa, it is having the smallest share among the all world regions, and it is ranking between 3.4 to 3.8% since last 2 decades, while the contribution of carbon emission by economic community of West African states is only 1.8% of the total carbon emission by the world. That is reported by Regional Climate Strategy Reports on ECOWAS Climate Change 2022. And if you see these 15 countries only emitting only 1.8% of the total carbon emission, total world carbon emission. So even it is very less than the European Union. If you see that 15 countries what they are emitting, So there is a table I will show you that table. The per capita average carbon emission of 10 selected countries of ECOWAS from 1991 to 2022, and Nigeria is placed at the top in terms of per capita average carbon emission among the 10 selected countries of ECOWAS with 97,016.97 metric tons since 1991 to 2022. That is the World Bank data. And Cote d'Ivoire is placed on second highest meter with 6,683 metric ton from same period of the study, while Guinea-Bissau is placed on the 10th of the 10 ECOWAS countries, and its average emissions is 288.06 metric ton at the same time period. And Liberia placed on second lowest carbon emitter with 727.42 metric ton with the same time period. Along with the per capita emission, one can also see the growth rate of the 10 selected countries, since Nigeria placed on the top of the carbon emitter in the region, but in terms of average economic growth, it placed second, that is 4.02%. Ghana registered highest average economic growth in the region, 5.37%. And it is evident from the table, which I made it after this PPT, you can see the gross domestic product and carbon emission is not in the same direction with which is invalidate the assumptions that if country emitting more carbon dioxide, then they are growing at the faster rate. So that one the findings which we find out that the contradictory relation between the carbon emission and economic growth and other independent variables. Therefore, it is pertinent to examine the association between the carbon emission and economic growth in 10 selected countries of ECOWAS. This is a table which I made it. There are 8 independent variables and 1 dependent variables. We get it, and we try to establish the relationship between the carbon emission, economic growth, energy consumption, exports, exchange rate, industrial growth, population growth, gross capital formation, and so on. So there are some literature review I try to capture, but I just try to make it summary. And most of the researchers, those who work in this area, they use time series data. At the same time, they use panel data. And with the time series data, they use the OLS regression model and ARDL estimation techniques. And those who use the panel data, they use the fixed effect model and random effect model. And for the homogeneity effect, they use the Husman test to check whether the random effect model or fixed effect model is feasible or not. And on the basis of the results, they stated their policy suggestions. The good things of this article, which we try to present, is that it is covering the latest data up to 2022, and we try to cover up 8 independent variables and one dependent variables. So in terms of research gap, we try to fill up time gap and the variable gaps and to get more robust results. So the objective of study has been stated here, to study the effect of economic growth on carbon dioxide emission. The second one is to investigate the impact of energy consumption, electricity consumption, population growth rate over the emission of carbon dioxide. And the third and the last is to examine the association between carbon dioxide emission and export, exchange rate, and gross capital formation. And in line with objectives of the study, we try to come up with the three hypotheses, and that three hypotheses is economic growth does not have any impact over the carbon dioxide. Emission of carbon dioxide does not influence by energy consumption, electricity consumption, population growth rate. And the third one is the carbon dioxide emission does not have any impact by export, exchange rate, and gross capital formation. So, since the data is panel data, and we use three methodology. That three methodology is the fixed effect model and the random effect model, and then for the feasibility of both model, we run over the data set Husman test to check the validity of the model, which model is appropriate. So the random effect, fixed effect model is to giving the individual effect, while the random effect model is giving the specific effect about the variables, about the relationship between the dependent and independent variables. So these are the econometrics model which we formed here, functional form and regression form, and all are is in natural log. We took natural log to avoid any kinds of linearity in the data and stochastic problem in the data. Since it is a final data, so there is a time series and cross-section data are together, so there is a chances, high chances of multicollinearity or heteroscedasticity or autocorrelation in the model. So therefore, we took the natural log to avoid such issues, such problems, and the results of the study is, as I said, that it is relied on fixed effect model and random effect model. And the result of fixed effect model is given also in the table 2. And the estimates of fixed effect model indicate that the gross domestic product and carbon dioxide have negative association, and that is the shocking result from the data sets with the use of fixed effect model. Generally, when we say that we are growing, it means we are more emitting. But the result says that in the case of economic blocks of ECOWAS, when you are growing, it means the carbon emission is less. It's a negative relation between the carbon emission and economic growth, and it is a contradiction to the theory of economic growth and carbon emission with the Western country and Asian region and so on. So that is the very exciting result with this fixed effect model, and which means ECOWAS countries does not reach at that level. That indicates that ECOWAS country does not reach at that level of economic growth where the emission of carbon dioxide will be more. Furthermore, out of 8, it is a problem here, it is a typing error. Out of 8 explanatory variables, 4 are having negative association with the carbon dioxide, such as energy consumption. Supposed to be when you are consuming more energy, it means you are emitting more. But it depends which types of energy you are consuming. Whether you are non-renewable energy you are consuming more, and fossil energy you are consuming less. In that way, it can be negative relation. But as we know that whole Africa continent is not very advanced, and they are, especially in ECOWAS region, they are not using more non-renewable energy. They are based on fossil energy, coal energy. So this is the shocking result for this data sets for that region. And other one is the gross. We saw that the 4 are having negative association, like as I said, energy consumption, gross capital formation, gross domestic product, and population growth rate. While other 4 are having positive relation with the carbon emissions, such as electricity consumption, exports, exchange rate, and industrial growth. Moreover, out of 8 independent variables, 4 are having statistically significant at 1% level, and for any statistical model, if your variables are significant statistically at 1%, it is assumed that it is a good estimate, it is a robust estimate. Since Mr. Chairman is here, he is from economics, so we know better than other biologists and geologists how even other streams are also using same regression model, but it is some limitation to the other field. So here, the energy consumption, exports, and exchange rate, while other 4 are having significant impact over the carbon emission, such as gross capital formation, gross domestic product, industrial growth, and population growth. However, they are statistically insignificant. Furthermore, the probability value of F statistics, which are talking about the specification of model, whether what we are estimating, that one is specified or not. In this case, the model is significant. The F statistics, probability value of F statistics has been significant at 1% level, which indicates that the model which we estimate with the help of fixed effect model is a highly specified model. Furthermore, we employ the random effect model. This is a table has been given here, and one can see the relationship between the GDP and carbon emission is negative, and it is quite shocking. It is not supposed to be, but the reason behind that, when we used to use the fixed effect model, generally we used to run the regression with the dummy variables, which takes binary number, fixed variable that takes 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. That's why this result is not very robust and not according to our expectation. Therefore, we bound to run the fixed random effect model to check more robustness of from the data sets, and we run, and therefore we applied the random effect model, and which reveals that out of 8 explanatory variables, 3 are having negative impact over the emission of carbon dioxide, such as to electricity, gross capital formation, and industrial growth, while other 5 are having positive association with emission of carbon dioxide, such as energy consumption, exchange rate, export, gross domestic product, and population growth. So here, when we use random effect model, with that random effect model, what we find out that the association between the gross domestic product and carbon emission, what we expect, that is that we exactly got. That is a positive relation. Positive relation between the between the economic growth and the carbon emission. Moreover, out of 8, 4 are having statistically significant at 1% level, such as to electricity, energy consumption, economic exchange rate, and population growth rate. While other 4 are having impact over the carbon emission of carbon dioxide, while they are statistically insignificant. Furthermore, the probability value of F statistics is indicate that the results are F statistics indicate that the model is also highly specified. So now we need to compare with the fixed effect model and random effect model, whether the out of both, which one is more feasible, more perfect to run this data set. So, as we compare, one can conclude that the estimate of fixed effect model revealed that association among the carbon emission and GDP are having negative, while random effect model says that, the result of random effect model says that the carbon emission, the association between carbon emission and economic growth having positive association, and that one what we are seeking. Therefore, to verify that which model is appropriate, as I told you that we run the Hussman test, and the result of Hussman test says that, here I put the table of the Hussman test. It is a test which we use to check the endogeneity among the model, among the variables, and we find out that the probability value of chi-square is significant statistically at 1% level. Therefore, and this Hussman test we run only over the random effect model. Why? Because random effect model estimates giving the robust result. That's why we only choose to run this Hussman test over the random effect model. And test result of Hussman test results over the random effect model says that the probability value of chi-square test is significant at 1% level. Therefore, we conclude that the effectiveness of random effect model is appropriate over this data sets of 8 independent variables and 1 dependent variable, that is the carbon emission, economic growth, electricity consumption, energy consumption, exchange rate, population growth rate, gross capital formation, and so on. So, therefore, one can conclude that The current study examining, in the process of examination, the association between the carbon dioxide emission and economic growth in some selected countries of ECOWAS community of West African states. For this, the study selected 10 ECOWAS randomly, such as Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Nigeria, Senegal, Togo, and utilized 30 years of data sets from 1991 to 2022, which is sourced from World Development Indicators, World Bank, Central Bank of Nigeria's various bulletins, and panel data regression techniques employed for the analysis of data. And three techniques we employed: mixed effect, random effect, and then Hussman test. And the random effect model estimate pointed out that out of 8 independent variables, 3 are having negative effects over the carbon emission and 4 are having positive impact over the carbon emission. And therefore the study perceived that emission of carbon dioxide, gross domestic product, and industrial growth rate are not enough to lead the climate change in this region, because they are not achieving at that level of economic growth, and still there is a scope for more industrialization, more urbanization, and get more economic growth, so that they can reach at that level where the Western country and Asian regions are there. Therefore, it is advised to ECOWAS members that they should take up precautionary measures and utilize their carbon emission quota for a source of revenue generation, and use this revenue generation judiciously for clean energy equipments to reduce future further emission. Thank you so much for your patience. If you have any questions, please, I will be happy to answer. Thank you so much. Yeah, please.
Country. Question is that how the percentage of the solar energy application to be applied in ECOWAS country to reduce the impact of carbon emission.
Thank you so much for your questions. Rightly pointed out the solar and the percentage of solar energy. You know, in this study, we didn't put that percentage of solar energy because the lack of the data. The data is not easily available for those reasons. So many things are being excluded because of the lack of information, but still they are in process. They are in process to use this solar energy, but it is very expensive. Very expensive. For example, in my house, there I put it solar inverter. I put 4 panel, 2 battery, 1 inverter. It is almost more than ₦1 million. If you go for in rupees, it is about 100,000 rupees. So, and the per capita income, if you see in that region, per capita income is about 200 USD. So, meeting that requirement without the government support and the other foreign aid and other international agency support, it is not possible to use that solar energy in those regions. But maybe in future they can use, and if we get the data, then we can extend the study, improve that non-renewable energy. Since you see that the variables which we use only energy consumption, and that energy consumption is only the fossils, OS energy consumption, not total energy consumption, and just we divide the hydroelectric and coal electric, and we took the total electric consumption. So we excluded the solar energy consumption.
My point is, if he increase the application of solar activities, solar application, solar technology, so many CSP, MSP there, that increase the reduce the impact of the carbon emission total rate.
I understand your questions, but without data, without result, without including my study.
Resource center is renewable energy.
Okay, no subsidies for solar in South. That is in that country.
I'm not talking about subsidies. You know, as long as I will not use as a information in my model, I will not tell you how it is going to work. That is my point.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bolakan sir. I have never met him physically, but we are in connect on LinkedIn. I hope so. Sir is working in West Africa and I am working in East Africa. So both of us are working in Africa and both of us are proud Indian citizens. For the audience, I know many of you might have not been interested in the topic. It was all about statistics, variables, and then tests. And many of you are from, I think, science, we can say area. So let me put it in the short like this. You see, concept was about the carbon emission. Clear? We have different forms of carbon. Clear? And we all know it. You see, if you talk about science, we have two things which I will discuss. One is that we all know greenhouse effect. Clear? One is greenhouse effect. And the main reason for greenhouse effect, all of you science students, you know there are many particulate matters in the atmosphere, and one carbon is one among them, very important one, which will cover the earth and then it will not allow that sunlight to go back. That is one point. Second is that we know the trees are their forests, forest cover, which helps us to reduce this carbon content in the form of storing the carbon. Clear? So we have forests, but unfortunately, what is happening over the last years? There is one estimation that in 2030 we will just have less than 10% of the forests. 10% of whatever forests we have, out of that we will have just 10% of the forest by 2030. Estimate is one estimate. One more estimate is there. Just Dr. Bola Khan had a speech of 1 hour. Clear? You know, in 1 hour, how many forests have been cut down? Can anyone tell me what? There is one estimate, a shocking estimate, that forest is equivalent to 300 football grounds. How many? Yes, 300 football grounds. In 1 hour, we are cutting the forests for many reasons. For palm oil, for agricultural practices, for cash crops. 300 forests have been cut down just during the speech of Bola Khan. And it is not his mistake, so we should not blame him, And you know what is happening, So I am telling you that these are the estimates which are shocking. One end, we are increasing the carbon content, And you know, one more shocking, we can say figure I can give you. We all know Greenland, It is not Greenland, it is actually Iceland, and Iceland is Greenland, You know, in 1 minute, how much of the ice is getting melted? In 1 minute? 1 million ton. How much? In just 1 minute. So means 60 million ton. Clear? During his lecture. So this is happening, what is happening around us. Clear? So carbon is increasing like anything, emissions are increasing like anything, and the way which God had created the natural environment, clear? The forests, we are cutting them down. There is no afforestation, just deforestation. Clear? So we have to think about afforestation. No, there are these, as doctor said, that you see, it is an impact of development. Clear? You see, there are some things which we cannot control. Clear? We cannot control population, we cannot kill people. We cannot say no demand, no supply. Clear? Population is increasing, demand is increasing. But we have to tackle this demand in such a way that we will not harm our future generations. Clear? You know what is happening with the Western countries? Western countries are offshoring their production in Asian countries. Clear? We all know it, what West is doing, what they are doing. Clear? They are not producing in their countries, they are getting cheap labor in our countries, offshoring. Abhi to Apple ka manufacturing hoga India mein, and we all are happy. Clear? Sasta labor mil raha hai, environment degrade ho raha hai. Bangladesh mein, some 10 years back, there was an incident where in one factory more than 400 people died, laborers died. In just one incident. And nothing, not a big issue, 400 people died, so what? But if you know if one person will die in a company in US, the company may get liquidated, clear? So we all know about this, so we have to think about the stopping of carbon emission and rather to capture the carbon, clear? Thank you so much, it was a wonderful, nice lecture, and thank you so much, thank you once again.
You gave me goosebumps, Dr. Shah, and Dr. Bola Khan, I was lost in your statistics actually. I'm very bad at mathematics, maybe I'm good toxicologist, but at mathematics I'm bad, but एक calculation कर रही थी, दूसरी छूट जा रही थी. That's great. Sabah Khan, I know her very well. Yeah. So that is how we are approaching towards the sustainable development when economists are talking that how to save the economy, and one other person is saying that every time it is 300 football grounds are cleared in 1 hour. Imagine where we are going. So please save your Mother Nature and save your earth. So now it's time for the next session. The next session is by Dr. Pradeep Bhatnagar, Dean Faculty of Sciences, IIS University, Jaipur, and session will be chaired by Dr. Hukam Singh, Principal and Patron, RRC Anwar. Sir, आपका बहुत-बहुत स्वागत, sir, आपका.
to all of you. I selected this topic a little bit or different, though I worked mostly on the pesticides, but this year for this conference I selected this one, plastic. You know the importance of plastic, and particularly this year it is designation by the UN for the management of the plastic pollution. And I think you must be doing this one. That's why I selected this one. This is just not a very technical lecture, just for the awareness. Awareness for us. Anything of course you know anything about the plastic. You are seeing that we are living in the sea of the plastic. It's clear here. Everywhere plastic is everywhere. Now at this point of modern life you can see that we touch plastic more than we touch our body. Here you can count. You are sitting on that couch, this is made of plastics. Maybe you might be wearing some clothes, having a plastic thread. Okay. So then it is everywhere. It is our air, in our soil, and in the water also. And even the conscious citizen like you cannot ignore the use of the plastic. We have just taken the water from the plastic bottles. We know that this is the plastic, but what to do? We have to take it. And what makes plastic useful is exactly its nature of the persistent. It makes it harmful also, because it is a persistent in the environment. I will discuss later on this point. And it is a very, it proves the nature itself in the sense that made of molecular change that are too resistant to degrade and in a very reasonably considered time. It's very difficult to degrade the chain of plastic and that even the degradation of the plastic is have a harmful effect on the mankind. This we'll see later on. And it is just not ubiquitous in the environment, but now it has entered in our body also like other chemicals. This is a very serious thing about this. Now, plastic has pervaded Earth's surface environment as these are the durable synthetic organic polymers. Scientists recently estimated that about 8.3 billion metric tons of virgin plastic have been produced up to the year 2017. And with the contribution of current production and waste management, plastic, about 12 billion tons of plastic waste will be found in landfill and the natural environment by 2050. This is the estimation. And the larger piece of plastic, they are present all over our nearby, and these pictures are sufficient to show the havoc caused by the plastic. Now, what is plastic is, it's a total production has increased exactly over the last 70 years and has spread into the environment to the point where we can say that we live in plastic world. Then plastic is the material which can easily be molded into anything such as bag, bottle, etc., etc. And sadly, plastic takes as long as 500 years to degrade. When plastic exposed to, particularly when it's exposed to the water and particularly ultraviolet rays and air, it break down and become a microplastic, small pieces of the plastics, which are hard to remove from water. When all pieces of microplastic gets into dams, rivers, you can say, these are taken by the aquatic animals and ultimately they come to our body also. They enter actually in the food chain. Now this is the bottom slide. What is plastic? This is the polymer made up of the polythene, polypropylene, etc. Plus, along this polymer, there is an additive used, that is the stabilizer, flame retardants, plasticizers. Plasticizers are very harmful substances. And fillers, pigments also, dyes also, they are associated with the plastic. Now, there can be two classed in two categories. In the basic manufactured products, and other in the plastic which is resulted by the degradation also. So we are concerned about mostly about the secondary plastic, and these plastic that you can see there, mega plastic, the size is written there, then macroplastic, mesoplastic, 0.5 to 5 centimeter, then microplastic, which is within 5 millimeter, and the nanoplastic, just like nanoparticles also, they will become a nanoplastic material, which is the 0.1 micrometer. This is the more important thing. Then you can find in the microplastic the fiber shape, foam shape, reed needles, and fragments, etc. Now, little bit the history of the plastic world. Over 400 million tons are produced globally every year. This is a just rough estimate. And what is the exact plastic is? The plastic world refers to the group of synthetic material made from the hydrocarbons for the polymerization, a series of chemical reactions on organic carbon, which is the source of that organic carbon is our fossil fuel mostly, and natural gas and crude oil. Various types of polymerization things is possible to produce plastics with particular properties, like you can make plastic hard, soft, opaque, transparent, flexible, etc. etc. And in 1862, the plastic called Parkinson was made by Alexander Parkins from cellulose first time. And 1884, Hillary and Cadwell patented the synthetic fabric, the cardonate silk. Its successor rayon, which is a semi-synthetic plastic made from chemically treated cellulose. You must have heard the name of rayon. Then in 1907, Hedwig Backlund invented Bakelite. It was marked as a good insulator, and you know that this is used in the electrical equipment and like that. It's a good insulator. Then in 1912, Fitz patented material known as a polyvinyl PVC, which is very common nowadays. And in 1930, polythene used to make drink bottles, shopping bags, food containers, and in the 1950s, Gluno Natar developed polypropylene used for a range of everyday products, for example, packaging, child care seats, pipes, etc. Now today, PVC, polythene, and polypropylene are the most widely used plastic in the world. Now to improve their properties, new plastic are often mixed with the chemical additives like plasticizers, fire retardants, dyes, etc. These additives make the material more flexible and durable, but they damage both environment and what enter in the water and the air, ending up in our food cycle chain. Now, new generation plastic now is the biopolymers. You must have heard the name, and this is made from the chitin possessed by the arthropods, crustaceans, and insects. Chitin is a protein polymer, very hard. The success of the arthropods, particularly insects, it is because of the presence of the chitin. So they are using this chitin for the making of the thing that is known as the chitosan, and to replace the simple plastic use. This chitosan, it is used in Canada also, and in some food apparel and silver like plates, etc. This is now in the beginning of them, and it's a good start for them because it is a biodegradable. Now this is the history of the timeline of the plastic. You can see that starting from 1930, it got different variant. We got the East and in 1890 we got the Bakelite, the phone. Then in then there will be tires, etc. Then electrical appliances in 1930, and like that. So this is a timeline of the plastic evolution, and about 1935, we all learned this polyethylene appliances and the Teflon, like that. Okay? Then in 1950 we extended the polystyrene strips, then polycarbonate, and like that. Then it comes into the textile also by the end of the 1950s. Now this is the age of the plastic. That you can see that these this packaging, consumer product, textile, electrical product. The plastic of this area remain for 10 years, but particularly the packaging is remain only for the 6 months or so. Like this, that of course it is used now in the transportation, industrial material, and the building construction material also. But the plastic remains for a very long time. So at the present, we are concerned, of course, these are all the plastic. But at present, regarding the plastic pollution, we are concerned about the one, which is packaging. Okay? Now this is another important slide, that it shows the 1 million tons. That's the industrial material we use, it is a 2017 report. Industrial material we use the 3 million tons, and other the electrical application in the 19 million, like that. In the transport, then consumer product, then the textile, and then the building construction. This is using the 71 million tons of plastic. Now, last one is the packaging, where about 158 million tons of plastics is used. This is important. Of course, we cannot leave this all the other, because we need the building, in the industry also, textile also. Of course, textile we can change now, because previously it was used only the cotton, but used now. Every textile you can say, even which is sold in the name of cotton also, it contains some thread of the plastic. Okay. Now this is the important thing. Packaging, where we are, the 158 million tons of plastics used, we can manage this. I think we can manage. We can find out the alternative of this plastic bottle. We can find out the alternatives of the bags and other things also. We were using that previously. We were not using the bottles on the plastic bags, etc. We can see that if you can somehow reduce the use of this group of the plastic, then we will be able to manage the problem caused by the plastic pollutions. Now this is how the 70 side road, that the plastic 26% in the PET, in the 9% which is used as the polyester fibers, then the 14% is plastic bottles, cleaning agent, etc. Then 10% is the polyvinyl chloride, root used for the pipes, floor covering, electric cables. Everything is made of now plastic. And the fourth, LDP is lower density polyethylene, plastic bags, etc. And the polypropylene, the food packaging, DVD cases, we are made from this one. And polystyrene is a 6% food packaging again, packing material, insulator, and the 26% plastic is used, miscellaneous plastic present, containing different type of the plastic. So in 1915, 407 million tons of plastic were produced worldwide. In theory, all should be recycled, but it is not possible. It is not recycled. Now, the lesson that occurs is the plastic has become industrial it is durable. We have already discussed one. And the polythene making protective packaging food container, PVC used for the making rigid flexible packaging, and plastic used in construction, as you know, in the car, aircraft, train, ship, everywhere the plastic is used. Now, rising demand of plastic has led to problem in waste disposal. According to current estimate, about 40% of plastic products are garbage after less than a month. These constantly growing mountains of plastic waste are causing severe environmental problems. In 2025, plastic production may be the approximately 600 million tons. And current recycling system cannot cope with this volume of waste. Okay? The history shows that only 10% of more than 9 billion tons of plastic that have been produced since 1950 have been recycled. Only 10%. You can see the seriousness of this. Other 90% is remain on. Where it is going? Now in India, you can say the Indian concept is that we have a forestry 1%, then high density polystyrene 7%, and the PET 12% which is being used in the water, etc. 40% polypropylene, and low density polypropylene is the 31%, and the multi-layer packaging is 35. Multi-layer packaging where the plastic is used with other materials like aluminum, etc. So these are the condition of the in our country. And what happened to the garbage in India, our country? India recycled only 12% and burned 20% of 35 million tons of plastic waste is generated in 2019 and 20. There is no information for the remaining 68% of plastic waste, which most likely ends up in dump sites, landfills, in rivers, in sea, etc. Now, what is the position at sea? Because everything you can see that ultimately ends in the sea, from the rivers, then river go to sea, like that. Sea is our last dumping site for all the politics, all the garbage. Ultimately. So what happened? Everywhere over some 10 million tons of plastic waste entered in the sea. 10 million tons of plastic waste every year. Now, plastic which end up in sea tend to concentrate in 5 layers. This gets North Pacific. Where is there? The North Pacific, Great Pacific Garbage Patch. I will show you the slide of this one. You will shock to see this slide. Chemical process, mechanical absorption, and photodegradation through the sunlight and UV gradually degrade the plastic. Okay? And the plastic which is floating over the surface of the sea and breaking into very smaller pieces, as I discussed in the macroplastic and the nanoplastic. That is more harmful. The other bigger piece, you can see of course they call the nuisance. Either you can see the garbage there, but you cannot see the microplastic and the nanoplastic. Okay. Now fishes about 200 to 1,000 meters deep in the sea, North Pacific, this much of the tons per year plastic. Seabirds consume perhaps 100 tons of a year of plastic. Okay? And toxic substance, for example, PCB, persistent chemicals, which include the pesticide also, accumulate on the floating earth. Actually, these small pieces of the plastic, they provide a site because they have small size, but the surface area is high. So they provide a site for the settlement of the microbes also, bacteria also, as well as the other chemicals, harmful chemicals also. So those microbes and the chemicals, they travel, they goes inside our body and the body of the animal along with the micro and the nanoplastic. Now this is the condition of the number of the pieces in the fixing. 24, they say 24% like that. We have found in the different seas, in the pieces, percentage, for example, in Mediterranean, we had 17%, then these bags, 4-6% bags are there like that. So these are the percentage, they define the different seas. Okay? Is it clear? Is it different? I should not read. I have not to read all the things. Now this is the condition of the sea in the regional marine area where the billions of pieces of the plastics, they are floating. South Pacific, 491 billion pieces. Like that, North Atlantic, like 130 billion pieces of plastic, they are floating there, like that. And Indian Ocean, about 13,000 billion pieces of the plastic, they are floating. And North Sea, 1,990 pieces of the plastic, they are floating. Now this is this one. I think you must have heard this. Have you seen this slide or heard about this one? This is in the dark area. It is the Great Pacific Garbage of Plastic, which is 1.6 million square kilometer, 4.5 times bigger than the size of the Germany. You can appreciate the problem of the plastic pollution. In the white color, it is the Germany country, and in the dark blue color, it is the garbage patch of the plastic pollution. So much of plastic we are producing. Now the main, I will tell you that the main culprits are, we get the plastic, remember, different seas and Coca-Cola, Nestle, Pepsi, Philips Morris, like that. So these are the main culprits of the plastic pollution, of the single use of the plastic bottles and other packing material. Now this is an important, interesting slide, that many countries, particularly UK and USA, they export their plastic garbage. वो हमको भेज देते हैं, अपने पास नहीं रखते हैं। जैसे ही कौन सी